Hello, class 6. Let's revise chapter 8, the lesson that we have finished learning, the simple tenses. Let us look at the warm-up. Fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb given in brackets. Number 1. I dash to the market tomorrow. You have to use the verb go and you have to use it in the simple future tense. So, the answer will be, I shall go to the market tomorrow. Number 2. My father dashed for a walk at 8 a.m. every morning. You have to use the verb leave and in the simple present tense. So, my father pakhatsawania one singular leaves. Remember, I told you that if you use if the subject is singular, the verb should have an S at the end. So, my father leaves for work at 8 a.m. every morning. Number 3. My teacher dashed the lesson to me well. Use the verb explain in the simple past. My teacher explained the lesson to me well. Number 4. Our pet dog dashed to our new house very well. Adjust is the verb and use it in the simple past. Our pet dog adjusted to our new house very well. Okay. Number 5. We dash our dinner by 10 p.m. We use the verb finish in the simple future. We shall finish our dinner by 10 p.m. Number 6. The children dash to school every day. The verb is walk and in the simple present, the children walk. Walks kanti lavang, walk kanti ang. The subject is plural, more than one. So use the word walk. Okay, the verb walk to school every day. Those pastries dash delicious. Verb is look and in the simple past, those pastries looked delicious. Number 8. She dashed dinner for her family tonight. Cook. In the simple future, she will cook dinner for her family tonight. Number 9. Several of the books dash damaged in the fire. The verb be in the simple past. What are the different forms of be? The different forms of be are is, am, are, was, were. Remember, I told this to you, I think in class 5. The different forms of be are is, am, are, was, and were. So, simple past engber kangekan mandon is, am, are, was, were. You have to use was or were. And you have to look at the subject. Several of the books. This is in the plural. So, what do you use in the plural? Was or were? Were. Several of the books were damaged in the fire. Neither answer dash correct. The verb is again be and in the simple present. So, be ka inge kanti ka is, am, are, was, were. So, simple present will be is or am or are. Okay. Neither answer, singular. Neither answer is correct. So, that is how you will fill in the blanks. Now, let's continue with today's lesson. The perfect tenses. Page 71, chapter 10, the perfect tenses. Again, we have 3 perfect tenses. Okay. The present perfect tense, the past perfect tense, and the future perfect tense. So let's begin with the present perfect tense. Okay. I have written down here a few examples, again in the negative, affirmative, negative, and interrogative for the present perfect tense. Affirmative, negative, interrogative. Let's begin with the affirmative. I have. Now we are using the word have. Okay? Or has. These auxiliary verbs will be used according to the subject. I have cleaned my room. I has kan ti theilova. I have ti angai ta. I have cleaned my room. Okay, this is also in the third form. My sister has been to Germany. Now, I have used has here because my sister is singular. You have eaten 2 burgers. When you use the subject you have to use have. You have eaten 2 burgers. Now, let's change them into the negative. I have not cleaned my room. My sister has not been to Germany. You have not eaten 2 burgers. Have kapman chuan have kapmang zelang. Has alone is on has more sentence khan kapman to ngai ka kapmang zel don ani. Interrogative. Have I cleaned my room? Has my sister been to Germany? Have you eaten 2 burgers? Question mark at the end. Okay. This is how you make the affirmative, the negative, and the interrogative for the present perfect tense. On page 71, you will find some very important points there. The present perfect tense describes an action that started in the past but has just been completed. The term present perfect suggests that the action has been completed recently. Present perfect. Okay, so let's look at the uses. To talk about unfinished actions or habits that started in the past and continue to the present. For example, I have walked 4 kilometers already. I have walked. Have walked is the present perfect. 4 kilometers already, which means I am still walking. Kala zawulawa kala tis make zelani zu. Matangin till past atanga katan ka kala ti make zel. Okay, I am still walking. He has lived in New York since 1984 and he still does. So has lived is the present perfect and matangin mo hey tilkal to angkhan ain tan naka ma man past anitani masi tuna kalatseng alatseng mek tin angkhania and he still does tuna polo omti nani ma tanga omto tuna alo omek ma tanga kakal kha tuna kalakal. Okay. Number 2. To talk about an action performed in the past but has not finished yet. I have taken many exams this month. Have taken is the present perfect. She has drunk 4 cups of coffee. Has drunk is the present perfect. So if you look at these 2 sentences, the first sentence, the month is not over yet. I have taken many exams this month. Tun thatsung chu hei, tun thatsung chu I exam tam tak kalau ti to ti na niya ma sengin hei atla ala zolova katil ti lai po ka ala zolov ti ina ang chu. Okay, she has drunk 4 cups of coffee. Coffee no lia into ma sengin haminiya khan no lia into ma sengin aniya ka ala zolova ala inzel thai ti ina ang ni chu. It can continue. Okay, it has not finished yet. The action has not finished yet. Right? Let's turn over to page 72. Number 3, to talk about an action that was completed in the very recent past. So, to show actions that completed in the very recent past, you can use words like just, already, recently, yet, during. For examples like this, okay? I have just cleaned my room. The minister has recently announced a new plan for the railways. And number 4, to talk about one's life experience, actions or events that happened sometime during a person's life where the time is not important. I have read Wuthering Heights. She has been to London. Okay, so these are the uses for the present perfect tense. Now, this is your class 5 textbook. And in your class 5 textbook, remember you have the basic verb forms, the 3 forms of the verb. First form, second form, third form. First form, second form, third form. The first form is the simple present. Okay. The second form is the simple past tense. And now the third column, this is the past participle. This third column is very, very important, and this column is used for all the perfect tenses. Don't forget, okay? So, using these forms of the verb will make the present perfect tense, past perfect tense, and the future perfect tense. Okay, the third form, remember, third form to perfect tense. Atan kan mangani. Let's look at the construction of the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense, you have to use has or have. Remember, simple future te, simple past te, simple present te kanamang mi alavania tuna kanmang don siani in the present perfect tense. We're going to use these auxiliary or helping verbs in the present perfect tense. Affirmative vik anya. Okay, these are all affirmative sentences. He has eaten a lot. She has taken my book. We have sung a song. The boys have broken the glass. In these two sentences, we have used auxiliary verb has. In these two sentences, we have used auxiliary verb have. Now, why have we used different auxiliary verbs? Again, you have to look at the subject. He is singular. She is also singular. So when the subject is singular, use has. We is plural, the boys plural. So when the subject is plural, use have. And then look at the verb, the main, the principal verb, eaten, taken, sung, broken. These are in the third form. Third form, kind of shame, kan soito ka. The third form, this column, this is the third form. We have to use only this column, okay? Only this column. You cannot use the first or the second. Don't use the first or the second. Use only the third column, the third form of the verb. So, these are in the third form. So, this is how you make the present perfect. And these are affirmative sentences. Let's change them into the negative. He has not eaten a lot. She has not taken my book. We have not sung a song. The boys have not broken the glass. So those are the negative sentences. Now let's change them into the interrogative again. Okay. Has, you have used the auxiliary verb has. So you begin the sentence with whatever auxiliary verb you have used. Has he eaten a lot? Question mark. Has she taken my book? Question mark. Have we sung a song? Question mark. Have the boys broken the glass? Question mark. So that's how you make the interrogative forms of the present perfect. Okay, very easy. The next perfect tense is the past perfect tense. Again, I have made some examples here for the affirmative, negative, and interrogative. Again, the auxiliary verbs have changed. Had, vik kan mangang in the past perfect tense. So let's first look at the affirmative sentences. The meeting had begun. Had plus third form of the verb. Remember I told you third form, this third form, okay? This third form only. So, next, she had forgotten her keys. The choir had sung well. The meeting had not begun late. She had not forgotten her keys. The choir had not sung well. These are the negative. And now for the interrogative. Had the meeting begun late? Had she forgotten her keys? Had the choir sung well? So these are the three forms of the past perfect tense. A few more examples of the past perfect. In the past perfect tense, we use the auxiliary or helping verb had, H-A-D. Had. So, he had felt. The principal verb is in the third form, okay? It is in the past participle form. She had left for work. So, she had is the auxiliary or the helping verb, and left is the third form or the past participle that makes it in the perfect tense for work. The houses had been painted. The houses had is the auxiliary or helping verb, and been is the third form or the past participle. Okay? Now let's look at the present perfect. Present perfect has or have plus third form. Third form ko kan mangvek kati ka third form lo chu man thei lo ta. Third form of the verb, past participle of the verb kan mangta. In the present perfect we use has. Okay? In the past perfect we use had. Okay? Some uses for the past perfect tense are written down here on page 74. The past perfect tense indicates that an action was completed at some point of time in the past before another action began. So you can, this tense is used to express two different actions at two different points of time. Something was completed before something else began. Use number 1. To show that two actions occur in the past, but one action was completed much before the other. The past perfect is used for the early action. Til ti pahni soina akhan. Til zo masa zo kha. Past perfect in kanziak donani. The simple past is used for the later action. Til anu zo katia kha. Simple past. Simple past kan shed victor kha. When I reached the station, the train had left. Look at this sentence. When I reached. Reached is in the simple past tense. Had left is in the past perfect tense. Now what does it say here? The past perfect is used for the earlier action. So what does it mean? In this sentence, it means the train had left. Okay, it left before I reached the station. First the train left, and then I reached the station. The train had left. This is in the past perfect, and reached. This is in the simple past. It is for the later action. Hey til zo masazok. Hey til zo nung zok. Azo masazoka past perfect kan manga. Azo nung zoka simple past. The spectators had rushed onto the field before the ball crossed the boundary line. Had rushed is the past perfect. Crossed is the simple past. So this is first. This finished first, and then this finished later. Do you understand? Spectator ka an chuak masazok phota chumi zo ball kha boundary line akan so ani. So the past perfect is used for the earlier action. The simple past is used for the later action. Next use. To denote an action completed before a given point of time. For example, I had finished my dinner by 8 o'clock. Given point of time. She had sent me a postcard a year ago. A year ago. Given point of time. So here also we use the past perfect tense. Hey, intro o til zo masa zo kha past perfect. Til zo nung zo kha simple past. Okay? Now the third perfect tense is the future perfect tense. Again, we have the three forms, the affirmative, the negative, and the interrogative. Affirmative, will or shall. Future, ason will or shall. Okay? So in the future affirmative, mother will have finished cooking by 5 o'clock. Will have finished. Will have the two auxiliary verbs, and finished is the past participle or the third form of the verb. We shall have done our homework by then. Shall and have are the two auxiliary, two helping verbs, and done is the third form of the verb or the past participle. Now let's change them into the negative. Mother will not have finished cooking by 5 o'clock. We shall not have done our homework by then. Then we have the interrogative. In the interrogative, will mother have finished cooking by 5 o'clock? Shall we have done our homework by then? With question marks at the end. So these are the three different forms of the future perfect tense. Right? Page 76. Uses of the future perfect tense to show the completion of an action before a specific point in the future. Before the guests arrive, we will have cleaned up the house. I will have saved up all my money by this time next year. Okay, specific point in the future. Okay. Next, number 2, to talk about actions that will take place after a given time in the future. For example, by 2020, I will have known Pragya for 20 years. By next year, Vineet will have lived in Sikkim for 12 years. What does it say here? Time expressions commonly used in future perfect tense are by the time, by tomorrow, by next month, by the year. The structure of the future perfect tense, will plus have plus past participle. It does not change with the person or number of the subject, or singular plural. Will, emo, shall, emo, man, tup, may turani. Okay? So that will be all for the explanation of chapter. What chapter is this? For the explanation of chapter 10. Okay?